And what about former President Trump and, not being terribly religious, not being a church?
Believes in God, So there you have it.
You think President Biden believes in God?
No, not at all. He worships the devil.
So I see. So and that's the difference between the two, is that one worships God and one worships the devil. And how do you see that manifested in President Biden?
It's showing. Child sex trafficking, the schools, kids, it's everywhere. It's everywhere.
And do you think President Biden's responsible for child sex trafficking?
Yes.
You do? In what ways?
Every way.
Are you a QAnon supporter?
No.
No, I'm curious what the child sex trafficking and the president, where that comes from.
I don't know. Ask him.
Ask him. If you've noticed, we've done these types of things before where supporters of Donald Trump and QAnon and any of these conservatives that are fooling people like this lady into believing all this nonsense, these cartoon things, the last answer is always, ask him. You're doing the talking. You're espousing the points. This is your identity. Why don't we ask you? What do you know? I'm gonna just point out the two really important things that Michael Shure asked her in follow-ups. He says, how and in what ways? Who cares what the rest of it is? How is a question that's really hard for folks to answer when they don't know what they're talking about. And also, in what ways does this actually work? You're telling me he's trafficking in children and it didn't exist until Joe Biden got into the White House. After he's in the White House, how did it happen? I don't know. My favorite was, are you a QAnon supporter, Jeff? She goes, are you a QAnon supporter? No. I want your response to this before we go to the next one. There's more, you guys, but Jeff.
I mean, what was there to think about? I don't understand. Are you a QAnon supporter? And I think she was trying to do like, okay, if I say yes, then he's gonna know I'm nuts, which means she knows she's nuts. And she went with no, and Michael Shure is doing a great job of being patient this entire time. It's great.
The next question I'd be is like, so why are you here? Anyways, let's get to more of that because he continued to ask folks questions. And in fact, these conspiracy theories and all of their thoughts about what is that's happening from the very top, specifically how this election was stolen. They're still on it. Let's watch.
I believe that there was some sort of fraud going on as far as the election goes.
Do you think that President Biden was legitimately elected?
No, nor do I believe that he got 81 million votes.
Unfortunately, I'm probably one of those election deniers that the people talk about. But I also wear red, white, and blue, which according to some people makes me a...
He's not. He's illegal. It's shadow government.
And I mean, what do I think? What do I know? I mean, gosh, if I talk long enough, just about anybody could think I'm absolutely crazy.
Like, so what's the shadow government, and how is he not your president because he wasn't legally elected, or because you didn't want him to be president?
He wasn't legally elected.
How did he get elected?
He didn't. He got selected.
So you think all the Trump votes were fine, but the Biden votes were curious?
You know what? That's a, I feel like that's sort of loaded.
That's sort of loaded. Not that the election was stolen, not that Joe Biden was selected, not that this entire thing that Donald Trump has been pushing from his January 6th foot soldiers attacking the Capitol to them still believing it with a straight face. They've never been asked any questions. When you have this group gang mentality, it's, well, the guy next to me is thinking the same thing as me. We don't need to explain it to each other because we all just believe it. They've never actually had to expand upon their thought process, expand upon why they believe what they believe. It's because they were told to believe it. Again, I want to stress it to you guys and Jeff. This is the party that they claim to be independent thinkers and come to conclusions for yourselves. Do you think any of these guys are thinking independently? Do you think any of these folks are coming to the conclusions for themselves? One guy in the red, white, and blue shirt, because he's wearing that, because no one else in the country wears red, white, and blue except conservatives. He says, if I talk long enough, anything I'd say would sound crazy. Don't talk that long, I'm already there. What are your thoughts, bro?
Yeah, say less, my dude. I thought you were crazy from the outset. You didn't really have to go that in depth. But and again, I want to stress this: Michael Shure does such a great job because for me, when I hear stuff like this, look, it's 2022. So I just resort to saying to people, since we all have computers in our pockets with access to the internet, I just say, hey, show me where you got that. Where did you get that information? Because then it's going to be a matter of, just my opinion. Because then we're going to have to deal with the fact that, like, hey, a lot of courts and a lot of places just threw this whole idea out. And even someone like Giuliani, when he was pressed about it, he didn't say, oh, this is alleged fraud, because he knew that his license was going to be revoked if he lied about it in court. All of these things were thrown out. And even they think that's a conspiracy. Never mind the fact that there was not enough evidence for them to even have a hearing for it in most states, most of the time, from Trump appointed judges. They would just rather I think they just want to think what they think and not be pressed on it. Just have my information in my brain, the way I see things, my worldview, and just move on with life. They don't want Michael Shure or me or you or anyone to question them about it, because then they're going to have to, face reality of the situation at hand. They're going to have to, adjust what they should or should not think. And it's getting bad. It's probably going to get worse because midterms are here. And if such a person does not win when they thought they were going to win, they're going to continue to say that it was stolen.
I can also go out on a limb and say that if their candidate does win, they can be like, that election was carried out correctly. The same one that they would have denied.
It's so weird how that works.
It's almost like it doesn't make any sense. And it's like you're watching a football game. You're like, that was not pass interference because it was my team. That's just how people think, except this score counts.